Hi, everybody. Fran Stevenson here with my partner in crime, Jennifer Hatton, and we have a special guest today, Lisa Lauf of Sage Communication. And Lisa was one of our course testers for Get the Right Influencers for Your Brand. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about how the course might have helped her. Lisa's been in PR and communications and marketing for a very long time. She's been a good friend of mine and a colleague. And so we wanted to talk to her a little bit about how the course helped her in her business. So Lisa, you tested the course for us, for which we were really, really grateful. Tell us a little bit about what you learned from the course.
Hi, Fran. Hi, Jen. First of all, you guys are so easy to talk to. And yeah, I've had a pretty long communications career, which means I'm old. But also that means that you have to keep riding the wave of what's new in communications. And obviously, this whole social media piece is daunting for someone who has to keep looking over the bigger strategy, so to speak. And so my job usually is looking over a vendor group that sees the whole program. So I am not a social media expert by any stretch. I certainly know enough about it to be dangerous, but to embark on something like an influencer campaign would be totally not in my bailiwick. It would be one of those things where I would get around to it, or I would ask somebody else to do it. So this program was great to make me a better manager of a larger campaign, and also to be able to assess one of my vendors' success in actually doing this. Added to that, coming up in the near future, I'll have to do this myself.
Because I don't.
Yeah, I know, because the client's relatively small. So in this way, the course has given me all the tools I need to assess the people I work with and how they're doing, and then also in our own programs that we've done previously. It's also giving me confidence to kind of jump into this by myself, as long as you guys are nearby.
What do you think? How do you think the course has changed what you thought about working for influencers? Like, you had some ideas before, and how has it changed how you're thinking now?
Well, I've actually had 3 experiences, heavy duty experiences, a past, present, and then one coming up in the future. And I would say, I would say that you have to be a little bit judicious about who you're bringing to the table, because our first experience was brought to us actually by a digital company, professional company. And this client in particular was a spa, and it was a paid and trade experience. But in retrospect, I don't believe the due diligence was done, because she really did not produce for us. The photography that she brought to the table was a fairly negative experience for, I feel like, what we had done. So I feel like I would look way more closely at probably the most daunting part of doing this, which is finding your people, right? Like, it's, if you can't afford the big search engines and the ID influencer tools, which I would love to afford, digging in and doing it yourself is probably, to me, the biggest barrier to even doing this to begin with.
Yeah.
And then once you have them, you really don't 100% know what you're going to get. So your ability to teach us how to really dive into that and look very closely was important, because it wasn't a positive experience. The second experience I had actually was something that I did with our social media representative, but I largely did the negotiations on it. And it happened right before COVID. So this is also for a spa. It was going to include a trade of 6 experiences that have been curtailed because of COVID and safety. So we're going to be reviving our contract with her, and I know exactly what I should be looking for. And we're very pleased with her. She's a 40,000 or 40,000 person follower on Instagram, and I do think she'll be great. But I do know the things to look out for now. You'll be happy to know we've done our contracts, etc. So the other piece of this is I have a new client coming up that I'll be doing, so I'll know where to start. And then also the reporting is really huge. You think once you've landed a blog or a post or whatever, like, whew, okay, we got that. But looking at the data is going to be way more important. So yeah, that's probably a long-winded way of saying this is, how I look at influencers more differently. I'd be more judicious about what they can really bring to the table, and really following up with the data they really drive.
Yeah. And I think, one of the cool things is that we didn't really say where you were from, but, Lisa lives and works on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And so she does a lot in the travel and tourism and small business niche, which is really perfect for this course. So you don't have, 3 million person influencers living on the island necessarily, especially in the time of COVID. You're looking towards that regional that regional influencer, which is perfect for the way we like to work, is with the micro influencer group for sure. What would you tell somebody who is just thinking about getting started with influencer campaigns as to how the course helped you?
First of all, don't be scared. Yeah. And I do think that, the most daunting part is really trying to do the mining, the hard work of getting in there and finding the people that you really need to bring to the table, because it's quite a big universe out there. And like I said before, that, your first, at least my instinct was, just give me one of those ID tools, give me one of the websites I can go to. And then you see they're just like a media list procurement agency. It's, thousands of dollars a month that you can't do. So you have to really start doing your hard work. But I think the relationships that you get once you bring these influencers into the fold are pretty intense. To me, it's a lot like media relations from years past. So traditional media is getting not replaced by, but certainly outcompeted by social media influencers. And so it's a little different with the paid aspect, but I think all the things that we used to do and still do as PR practitioners with media relationships is to look for that trust, to bring them stories that are authentic with heart, try to do a little something different, bend the rules. And one of the most important things is teaching your staff to understand that an influencer is a media person, and to prepare them for the fact that this influencer is coming in. Just like media, you cannot guarantee what you're going to get, so you better you'd better be able to really rally your forces so they're not confused or thinking, oh, I'm just squeezing this in between something else, like oftentimes people do in media interviews. So to me, it's not much different than trying to find that media relationship, trying to groom it and keep it for the future. But it's the whole data piece and their voice, and really doing that hard work of bringing them to the table. That's hard, but it's worth it. And it's really, I think, the only way that you can move your business forward.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really excited to we'll be working with an Indigenous client for a big grand opening in the summer. And I know that there are some really big ecotourism influencers who love British Columbia, love what we're doing. And I really am hoping to work with their marketing person to bring at least 2 to 3 influencers in for that this summer. So expect a call.
Oh, excellent.
Really excited to see that and the things that you do moving forward, and we really appreciate you taking the time to test out our course and all the great feedback that you gave us. And for those that are watching, if this sounds like it's something that's interesting to you, you can learn more about getting the right influencers for your brand down below, and we'll put some links in there in case you want to check out where Lisa's from as well. Thank you.